Hey gamers, Ethan Cito here, back on the Total War server. And today I have a great update to show you guys. It's the Dynmap compatibility update. People have been asking this for a little while. I feel like it's been affecting our bounce rates with new players. Basically, because we use a custom claiming plugin, Total War Claim, we have not had any icons on the Dynmap to show where people are living, and that kind of deters new players because they look at the map and they think it's empty. And so I have added some Dynmap compatibility. And I'm going to show you guys real quick, but first, let's go do a quick refresher of how to make the Bastion and how to make the range extenders, because this is how you'll be marking your claims on the map, on the Dynmap that is. You're free to make any other kind of maps that you want and color them in like crayons. So end crystal surrounded by blocks of coal makes the Bastion. This is the primary claiming block, and then an end crystal surrounded by Eyes of Ender makes the range extender, which is the secondary. And basically you put all the fuel in the Bastion, and then the range extenders connect to your Bastion to extend your area of influence. And basically you'll be like, oh, I want to live here, and you'll make some houses and stuff, and then once you get the resources, you can slap your Bastion down, and then you can do something like tribe, reinforce cool guy, and then sneak right click to reinforce it, and all of a sudden, look, you got a Bastion. And then if we move over into our other screen, we're going to the Dynmap. If I refresh it real quick, you'll be able to see that we have a little box here called Cool Guy after our tribe, and a little skull called Cool Guy. And basically, when you make a Bastion or a range extender, it will generate an area marker with a random color. You can get any sort of color here. And then the skull signifies that the Bastion doesn't have any fuel in it. So if we go back to the game, you can see that there's no fuel in the Bastion, and I'll just deposit a diamond in here to fuel it. And bam, added 10 fuel. Now this is just an example kind of fuel. The fuel in the actual server is different, and it adds a greater value. But just to show it off, if we go back to the Dynmap, you can see that our cool guy marker has now turned into a tower, showing off that we do indeed have fuel. But basically, whenever the Bastion turns from a tower into a skull, the description is also meant to say that's out of fuel. Yeah, and then as you can see, if we click it, it'll say cool guy out of fuel. This one will still say cool guy, but this one, if you click on it, it'll just let you know that this area is out of fuel. And a Bastion area being out of fuel means that you don't get any of the protections from the Bastion on the area. So if you protect a block in the area, that block will still be protected according to the reinforcement, fortify, and claim protection. But the Bastion's protections, which are to prevent other people from placing blocks in the area around it, as well as any upgrades like anti-flight, anti-teleport, surveillance, and EXP storage, those will all be disabled. Okay, so now that we've placed a Bastion and we've demonstrated how it makes an area marker and a little icon that can change depending on whether it has fuel or not, we're going to hook up a range extender. I'm not going to go super far. I'll just put one right here, and then I'll reinforce it. And then you'll notice that I've got a few Bastions already up on the server. And so if I take you to the Dynmap, you'll see that our new area has already been formed, and it's attached to Big Nerdy Nerd, and that's because I clicked the Big Nerdy Nerd icon over here. But if I were to click this cool guy, which is the most recent Bastion I made, you can see that it changes to a different color. And if I click on this one, then it changes to this color. I guess I got it confused. The main way that you'll tell bastions apart if you have multiple bastions claimed to the same tribe is you can see their coordinates. And so if there's not a very big difference, you can just use the dynamic map and be like, oh, this is the one that relates to this one. And then this is the one that relates to, I don't know, one of the ones. Yeah, this is the one that we placed recently. This is the one that we didn't. And as you switch your bastion, it'll switch the color and the one that it's assigned to. So if we, even though these are both called cool guy, if I have this on attached to this bastion down here, and I go over here and I fuel this one, put some fuel in there, and then shift 2, there we go, changing the scene. So as you can see, we've got fuel on this cool guy, but this cool guy is not fueled, and that's because it's actually attached to this one down here. This bastion is meant to, or maybe not, maybe this one, yeah, I think this one's left over from a test, but this bastion and this bastion have the same area color around it. And so if I want this to be fueled, then I have to go down here and fuel this one. Or I can change the Father Bastion assignment to take fuel from this guy, and then they can both be fueled. Just remember, for every range extender attached to a Bastion, it will consume extra fuel. So if you put down a bunch of range extenders, you're going to have to be putting some extra fuel in your Bastion in order to account for that, or else your Bastion will run out of fuel, and then when that happens, all of your range extenders also run out of fuel. So there's a little bit of danger if you're not careful, and if you overextend, you might spend your fuel resources too fast, which can lead to your entire claim becoming relatively undefended, except for, of course, these reinforcement protections. Alright, thank you guys for checking out this super cool tutorial on how your bastions will be connected to the Dynmap from now on. If you already have a bastion and range extenders up, in order to get them onto the Dynmap, you'll need to break them and replace them so that the plugin will register that they exist and connect them in. Anyway, that is all I've got to say for right now. I'll be working on the Win Condition plugin in the future, and probably making some more improvements to Total War Claim and Total War Faith in the future. Catch you later.